Every couple fights. That's not the problem. The problem is what happens after. Because most couples believe that the fight itself is what damages the relationship. The harsh words, the raised voices, the thing said in the heat of the moment. But here's what decades of relationship research actually show us. It's not the conflict that determines wherever a relationship survives. It's wherever couples know how to come back from it. That ability to find each other again after a rupture, it's called repair. And it might be the single most important skill in any long-term relationship. Not communication, not compatibility, not even love. Repair. And almost nobody was ever taught how to do it. In this video, I want to show you what repair actually is, why it matters more than most couples realize, and how to do it in a way that actually brings you closer instead of just closing the wound and hoping it heals. Because there's a difference between ending an argument and actually repairing from one. I want to start with a metaphor that I come back to often with clients. Think about a bone. When a bone breaks and heals well, with the right care, the right conditions, enough time, the place where it broke becomes denser than the original bone, stronger at the fracture point than it was before. That's what repair does in a relationship. A rupture that's genuinely worked through, not swept under the rug, not just apologized for and move on, but actually repaired, creates a kind of strength in the relationship that wasn't there before. It builds what researchers call earned security, the knowledge felt in the body, not just the mind, that we can go through something hard and come back, that this relationship can hold difficulty, that I don't have to be perfect here, that we're safe even when things break. That knowledge changes everything. It is the difference between a relationship that feels fragile, where every conflict feels like a potential ending, and one that feels like a secure base, a place you can always come back to. So, why don't more couples repair well? 3 reasons. The first is timing. Most couples try to repair too quickly. The fight ends or just stops, and one person reaches for normal, a joke, a practical question about dinner, acting like it didn't happen. And on the surface, that looks like moving on, but underneath, the other partner is still activated, still carrying what happened. And when repair is attempted before both nervous systems have settled, it doesn't land, and the wound stays open. I see this constantly with couples I work with. They think they have repaired because the conflict stopped. But stopping isn't repairing, it's just pausing. The second reason is that most people don't know what repair actually requires. They think repair means apologizing. And apology is part of it, but it is not the whole thing. A real repair isn't just, I'm sorry that happened. It's, I understand how that landed for you. I see what it did. And I want you to know that matters to me. That's a completely different thing. One closes the conversation, the other opens connection. The third reason, and this is the one that surprises most people, is fear. Reaching toward your partner after a fight requires vulnerability. You have just been in conflict. Your nervous system is still on alert. And now you're being asked to be the one who reaches first, without knowing if they will reach back. That takes courage. And for people whose early relationships taught them that reaching out was risky, that vulnerability wasn't safe, repair can feel almost impossible. Not because they don't want connection, because their nervous system is protecting them from the risk of it. Here's what I want you to understand about all three of those reasons. None of them are character flaws. They're patterns, and patterns can change. So what does good repair actually looks like? Let me walk you through it. The first step is timing. Before any repair attempt, both people need enough time for their nervous system to settle. Not hours, necessarily. Sometimes 20 minutes is enough. Sometimes it's the next morning. The question isn't how long it's been. The question is, can I actually be present right now? Am I back in my body or am I still defending myself? One of the things I often suggest to couples is to agree on a signal, something simple that means I am ready to come back when you are. It doesn't have to be words. Sometimes it's just making eye contact. Sometimes it's a hand on the shoulder. Sometimes that says, I'm still here. I still want us when you are ready. That signal alone can change the emotional temperature of the whole repair because it removes the fear of who reaches first. You are already agreed, we reach toward each other. That's just what we do. The second part of repair is acknowledgement, not explanation, not defense, acknowledgement. This is the part most people skip because it's uncomfortable. It requires sitting with what your partner experienced without immediately trying to correct it, even if you see it differently, even if you think you had a point. For just a moment, lead with their experience, not yours. Something like, when I said that, I can see how that landed as criticism. That's not what I meant, but I understand why it felt that way, and I'm sorry it hurt. It doesn't say you were wrong about everything. It doesn't abandon your perspective, but it puts their experience first. And that sequence matters enormously. Because when someone feels genuinely seen, when their experiences is acknowledged before anything else, their nervous system settles. The defensiveness drops, and suddenly they have room to hear you too. The third part is what I call the reach, a moment of genuine connection, not moving straight back to normal, not jumping to solution or next steps, just a moment of being close again. It might be physical, a hug that actually lasts, sitting together without talking. It might be words. I love you. We are okay. I don't want to be at odds with you. Simple, direct, true. What the reach does is signal to both nervous systems the threat is over. We are safe. We are still us. And that signal, felt in the body, not just heard with the ears, is what actually completes the repair. Without it, even a good conversation can leave both people feeling like something is still unresolved. Because something is. The body hasn't gotten the message yet. I want to tell you about a couple I work with. I call them Robert and Julia. They had a pattern that's more common than most people realize. Big arguments, explosive sometimes, followed by Robert going very quiet. Hours of distance, and then later that evening or the next day, he would just reappear. Normal, warm, like it hadn't happened. He thought that was repair. Give it time, let it pass, come back warm. Julia experienced it as abandonment followed by erasure. Like the fight and everything she felt in it simply didn't exist. So she would bring it up again, and he would feel like she was refusing to let things go, and the second argument was always worse than the first. What Robert didn't realize was that Julia needed the thing to be named before she could let it go. That got really hard last night. I know I went quiet. I'm sorry I left you there. That's all. The first time he said something like that, Julia cried. Not from sadness, from relief, because for the first time she didn't have to carry it alone. He was in it with her, and she would finally put it down. That's what repair does. It lets both people put it down. Gottman's research found something that I think is one of the most hopeful findings in relationship science. It is not the amount of conflict in a relationship that predicts whether it will last. It is the ratio of positive to negative interactions. And repair, every genuine attempt to come back, to reach toward each other, to say, I'm still here, counts as a positive interaction. Even imperfect repair, even clumsy, awkward, I don't quite know what to say repair, still counts. Because what matters to the nervous system isn't eloquence, it's effort. It's a signal that you choose to reach, that this relationship is worth reaching for. So if you are someone who struggles with repair, who either rushes past it or avoids it entirely, I want you to hear it. You are not broken. You'll probably just never learn it. Most of us didn't. We learned whatever our families did, which for many people meant conflict either exploded or disappeared. Neither one is repair, but it is a skill, and skills can be learned. Start small. You don't need the perfect words. You need a genuine moment of turning toward your partner and letting them know, I see you, I'm still here, we are going to be okay. That's enough to begin. In the next video, I want to go deeper into what makes repair hard for some people, specifically why some partners shut down completely after conflict and what's actually happening when someone goes silent. Because if you are with someone who walls off after a fight, there is something important to understand about what's driving that. And it changes everything about how you reach them. Subscribe so you don't miss it. We talk about emotional connection, relationship patterns, and how to actually build the relationship you want.